This clinic was started years ago by Jim McNally, okay? And we were over at Spinney Field about how many years ago, Jimmy? 12, somewhere around there. And there was about 8 or 10 guys at Spinney Field, okay, discussing football techniques, friends of Jimmy. And then the next year was 37, and the next year 76, and then they moved it down here, and it just outgrown itself. It's got out of hand. Okay, we'll have over 300 guys. We got 200 and some odd guys pre-registered, and it'll be about 300 guys here today. Offensive line coaches and people who want to understand something about the offensive line. It's all started with this guy right over here, Jim McNally. Okay, and he's going to be speaking tonight. He's the featured. You know, he's going to be on after dinner tonight. So you guys stay and listen to Jim McNally. Don't stray. This is an intense clinic, guys. Okay, we go all day long until about 9:30 or 10 o'clock tonight. I give you a short time for lunch. Get your butts out, eat lunch, get back in here, and get your seats. Okay? When there's a speaker up here, okay, don't be talking. If you want to talk, go outside. We do a lot of these things during the course of the season, and it gets kind of bothersome when you're trying to talk to somebody, and the guy next to you, maybe a guy in front of you is trying to listen, and you're back with him talking about how you're going to pick up a TV or something. Okay, so if you want to talk and do that kind of shit, go outside. I don't mind going, okay? I'm going to introduce a few guys here and say a few things. We have a guy here today, Tunch. You guys didn't expect Tunch to be here. Tunch was down working with Jimmy down in Carolina, and Jimmy called me and said, hey, I think we should get Tunch up here to discuss just the punch. How do you punch somebody? Because Tunch played this league, you know what I mean, and Jimmy will go introduce him later on for a long time. He only weighed 260 pounds as a tackle, played for 14 years in this league. It doesn't happen anymore. So he's going to do some of my time here this morning, so you're going to hear Tunch. Okay, we have Howard Mudd. Howard is the grandfather of offensive line coaches in the National Football League. Howard's been in this league for 24 years as a coach, and I don't know, about the same 24 as a player, I think. So he's been around a long time. You have Mike Major from the Jacksonville Jaguars who's here. Larry Bechtel, the assistant head coach and offensive line coach from the Miami Dolphins. He'll be here today. Who am I forgetting here? Keith Rowland. Keith Rowland's the assistant head coach and the offensive line coach for the Oakland Raiders. He left Minnesota with the Oakland with Joe Bugle. Okay, so everybody that's on the schedule is here. They're in the building someplace. Okay, Howard, Howard, stand up. You see Howard? Howard Mudd right there? Cool. See this? Cool. Now you see those shirts and stuff we have? Let me tell you about the Mushroom Society so you guys don't understand this shit. Okay? Howard started this with Billy Muir, okay, and Jim Hannaford. Hannaford's the Monsignor. He's the, you know what I mean, like the fucking Pope. Okay? And so, you know, cool. Why the cool? Why the mushroom? Okay? Because offensive line coaches, we're always left in the dark and always feed you shit. Right? Well, that's how mushrooms grow. So we come up with this thing called the Mushroom Society for offensive line coaches, and we started this as a little kind of fraternity, and it's kind of gotten out of hand. So when you see these shirts, you know, they're for sale out there. You can buy we have templates, we have pens, we have bag tags, we have note cards, we have, I mean, it just got out of hand. We have rulers. I mean, it just got out of hand. Okay, but cool stands for Coaches of Offensive Linemen. So when you see these shirts, you know what they're about. You see how it's going on. You'll have the guys that come up here usually will have them on. So you understand what that's about. Now I'm going to let, we have a guest here today, Rick Mentor. Rick Mentor was kind enough to hire me at UC when nobody else would even call me back. Not going to return my phone call. And so if Rick can come up here and just say a few words, and then we'll get right in with the speaking program. You know the rules. You hear that? When I blow the whistle, we move. So when we have a break, okay, I blow the whistle, you hear the whistle blow, that means we're going to start the next speaker. Okay, so we're going to get underway right here, right now. As soon as I get this thing past my belly. There we go. Now, topic. John, where's my thing? Okay. his address down. If you need to talk to me, or for anything that happened here today, or if you need some t-shirts if we run out, okay, any templates that we have for sale, we run out of that shit, buy all that stuff, because I don't want to take it home, get it out of here, please, okay? That's where you can find me. Okay, there's a telephone number, there's my extension, you can get to my voicemail, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do, my topic this morning, I'm going to talk about, and I was at UC last year, and I was very fortunate to have some pretty good players down there. I think we took them from, it was 88 in the country in Russia the year before, and I think we finished in 25th or 26th or 20, somewhere in that area. I'm not exactly sure, okay? We let up 8 sacks, okay? That was pretty good. I think that the kids did an excellent job. It wasn't because of me, it was because I had some pretty good football players. But it was the same techniques that I taught when I was at Camper and the Jets. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some of the things that I think you should know, okay, about picking up. My topic is picking up the stunts in the running game and some of the twists in the running game and some pass twists if I get enough time. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to talk, okay, for about an hour. From here on out, for about 1 hour. And then I'm going to turn it over to Tunch. Jimmy's going to introduce Tunch, and Tunch is going to finish my time slot here. Then we'll take a break, okay, and then the next guy will come on after me, whoever that is. I don't even have a schedule in front of me. So whoever that guy is, we'll begin, okay? Everybody got this down? No problem. Now, picking up the stunts and the twist. Okay, how many guys here run some kind of zone play? Inside or outside zone play? Okay, and this thing happens right here. Where you have, everybody see this? If I get in the way, just tell me get out of the freaking way. Okay, because sometimes I have a tendency, I'm left-handed. You have a defense that looks up like this, where you have a bubble over the guard. And you're running an inside zone play. And then what they do is we take this guy, drop crossover plant, and he presses the inside leg of the offensive tackle right there in the V gap. And they take this defensive end and they slam him inside like this. How do you handle that situation right there? Okay, what do? If you just let the end go, in other words, if you avoid the end completely, what will happen is he will ricochet off the outside shoulder pad of the guard and bounce himself into the play. He will ricochet off the outside pad of the guard and bounce himself into the play. Guy's a slant. He may slant from a 5 technique. He may slant from a head-up technique. He may be in a 4-eye and just come into the gap. Okay? But he's going to go inside someplace. Usually, if they slant from a 5, they kind of get back a little bit, to create the angle to come back inside. How do you handle that situation? Well, remember, the back is reading this guy. Our back reads that guy. If he goes in, he's going to go out. Okay? So if he goes in and you don't bring him back to the guard, he'll ricochet off, and as the back starts to go out, he'll make the tackle right there. Okay? We use a tough technique. We call it a tough technique. What I'll do is I'll talk about 10 minutes about this, about what the tackle's technique is and what the guard's technique is, and then I'll show you some film, and then we'll go on to the next problem. Okay? With some kind of stunts. Okay? We use a tough technique. What we tell a tackle on the inside running play, not the outside play, on the inside running play, that when that guy goes inside, we want you to bring him back to the guard. We don't want to let him go inside all by himself untouched and ricochet off the guard's shoulder. So what the tackle does is what we call a tough technique. He will take a slight drop step with his outside leg. Okay? He'll take a slight drop step with his outside leg. So if this was a 5 technique guy on me, this chair right here, I don't know if you guys can see it. Okay, this tackle will take a slight drop step, whatever you call that, with his foot flat on the ground. So when he takes that first step, his foot goes flat on the ground, and the weight goes through the inside of that leg into the inside arch. Okay? We don't want to put his toe in the ground. Okay? We want him to put his whole foot flat on the ground. Just like this. And the reason we want the weight coming through the inside arch, because if they put his toe on the ground and he leans the weight over the outside of the leg, on the outside part of the foot, what will happen is the second step will come too far and he'll cross over. and he'll be on a tightrope. So when we take the first step with the tackle, it's flat on the ground. That's the first thing we do. We measure where the defender is, and that first step gets flat on the ground, and we lose a little bit of ground. Not a whole lot, just enough so I can open my hips. I buy myself some time to see what the defender is doing. Why? Before I strike the guy. Because if I just sold out and struck the guy right now, my intentions, I've already declared my intentions on what I'm going to do to him, and he has an idea of what's going to happen in the play. So I'm buying myself a little time, okay, before I strike him so I can see what he's going to do. Number one. Number two, I'm buying myself some time because the running back hasn't physically been handed the ball yet. The quarterback hasn't come back and given the back the ball yet, so he hasn't started to run it. So if I just fire right off and hit the son of a gun, okay, I've declared my intentions, he has to hold the block forever. Let me give the guy a little bit of a break. In the back will help him block this guy by maintaining a course in the B-gap. So that's the first step. A lot of time on the first step. Why? I truly believe as an offensive line coach, I'm coaching the tight ends, but Paul Alexander's the line coach over at the Bengals. I think he's here. He should be here this morning somewhere. Okay? That your angle of departure from the line of scrimmage is critical. If I could break it down finer than the first step, I would. So when you depart the line of scrimmage, if you departed the line of scrimmage at the wrong angle, okay, you're going to be behind the block on the get-go. Right off the bat, you're behind the guy. Now, the real good athletes and the good players will make that up and find a way to block the guy and keep him out of the play. Now, the mediocre guys, the guys that are on the average level, are going to have a problem. Okay, the guy will always play on the edge of your pad. Okay? So we try to depart the line of scrimmage on the correct angle, the departure angles from the line of scrimmage. So here's the first step. Now, the second step now, I bought myself some time. The second step, what is the defender doing? He's going inside. So my second step, if I can get him to come back with the defender a little bit, bring him back to the guard, okay? Boom, back to the guard. Sometimes I don't even get it to go back. Sometimes it's stepping. He's going inside and I step straight up the field, okay, and I stop him. But I don't let him come clean inside. I don't let him come clean down to the guard and ricochet off the guard's shoulder. So the footwork, I would like to have him take a step and bring him back to the guard and push him with his hands like this, and his eyes will go to the linebacker. What I just said. But he's not going to look at this guy. He knows he's going inside. There's no sense of looking at that guy. Get your eyes on the linebacker because the linebacker is going to tell you where you're going to go next. Now you understand what I'm saying? Guy goes inside. I bring him back here. I bring him back with my hands. I tough technique him with either overstep or into him a little bit. Okay? Bring him back to the guy. I feel the guy, but my eyes are on the linebacker. I got two hands on the down guy, and my eyes are on the linebacker, because if the linebacker were to hang inside, if the linebacker just hangs inside here like this, okay, then I'm going to have to stay on that guy with the guard till I get a feeling of what's going on. Okay? Till I get a feeling of what the intentions of that linebacker is. So I tough technique him back to the guard. Now, when I bring him back, don't turn your shoulders. Write that down, big fucking letters. Don't turn your shoulders. I'll try not to swear, but because we're just on paper. Okay? What I'm saying is, when you first start teaching this stuff, what's going to happen is the tackle takes a step, the guy goes inside, and here goes the offensive tackle, goes boom, and he turns his shoulders in like this to try to bring him back to the guard. Well, here's the linebacker. If he turns his shoulders inside, on this kind of an angle, and the linebacker scrapes over the top, then he's got to turn his shoulders all the way back again. So if he turns his shoulders here, and this linebacker scraped this way, he has to turn his shoulders all the way back around to try to block that guy. Usually, he doesn't get him. Okay, if he gets him real, real late. So when you bring the guy back to the guard, the tackle, when you bring the defensive end back to the offensive guard, I want you to bring him up here, bring him back, push him back with your hands, and get your eyes on the linebacker. Now, when you come off to get the linebacker, you come off with your shoulders square or maybe even a little tilted to the line of scrimmage. You see what I'm saying? So I bring them back here, bang, as I come back out, my shoulders come back on this level. Not like this, because the linebacker's going to be moving. Remember where the back's going. My shoulders come back here. So as the linebacker keeps coming, my shoulders will be on a good plane to block the linebacker. Here, he brings it back, and then the shoulders come back off, and it should look something like that. And I can meet the linebacker right there. That's just a tackle. We just started to talk about the tackle. We haven't talked about the guy, it's just a tackle. He wants to push this guy. As he brings him back, and he wants to give him a little shove here, right, back into the guard. Secure it with the guard. Push him. If you can push him across the guard's face, that's even better. So if he goes inside, push him across the guard's face, that's even better. Then you get up and you block the linebacker. Put your helmet on the front side, number, cover him up, and run him wherever he's going. Let the backs do what they get paid to do. Okay. Now, the guard. If you got the bubble on you, get a linebacker over you. You've heard this many times. The deeper the linebacker, the deeper the drop step. So if that guy's the linebacker, what I want to do